And we're live, back with another Lucius Live. It's your boy Lucius here with Freshly Luke. How you doing, Freshly Luke?
I'm chill. I'm chill. Lucius.
We are chill.
I'm feeling chill. Right now.
I'm using this new background music option off of StreamYards here.
It's great. Adds an extra dimension.
Hopefully, all those long pregnant pauses of thought and waiting for someone to chime in, or something.
Yep.
Just
rub my face in it there, Lucius.
It was me too. I came
hashtag me too.
I came in completely unprepared last week, and I didn't expect you to be so wiped. Like there was times I was just waiting. I was like, all right, let me hear if he has something to say.
I was like really fucked. All right, I was like super fucked. Like, believe it or not, trying to market this campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of people who have like a lot of high mental energy, like, I'm amazed that they can do what they do and still like construct sentences.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with me, it's just like, I'm just fucked. After a couple of them, I'm just like, oh, and then
it's a marathon. For sure.
My brain just shuts down. So, but yes, I apologize for last week. I'm sorry I wasn't on my 100% usual self. I'm probably at like 80 or 90% today, so that's an improvement.
Good. Awesome. And I kind of have more shit ready to go this time too. So apologies for last week to the
slow day.
Half a dozen maybe regular watchers.
to the two watchers who watch this.
Right. But I love you.
Yeah. Well, okay.
This was the guy who I could not remember when we were talking NFTs. I'm like, this dude sells like these really high-end NFT shit.
Oh, yes, the 3D ones, right?
Yes. This is the stuff where I'm like, I could see people dropping some serious money now. He does all sorts of like kind of weird stuff, but it's kind of along this level where it's like some kind of 3D generated image file, and I guess you buy it, you can use it for whatever, or at least have the option maybe to 3D print it or something. I don't know the full scale of what you can do once you buy one of his NFTs, but this over the like avatar picture random generator stuff, like I don't, but this is what I meant. Like, if you had something that's a little more like uniquely,
well, something like that, you could probably pose out in Blender with like, some stock figures and stuff like that, and then just assemble them in different ways, or have it randomized some part of the traits of it. I'm not. Oh, whoa! What's going on? What's all the Pepe? Is this all his?
Very like 3D rendered ones.
All right, a man of culture.
I'm more used to like what I've seen of it is more like robot, android type stuff, and usually kind of the stony, classical kind of looking thing to it too. So it's sort of like a fusion of different stuff. This is way more classical than what I'm used to seeing, but the arm, the gold arm kind of thing, but it's more like a robot stuff you might see. But yeah, this is the guy I was thinking of. I could not remember his name for the life of me, and then all of a sudden, Twitter is like it annoys the shit out of me because I'll get like the same kind of stuff like going on in the feed of it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, oh, this is really cool, and then it's like it'll just disappear.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere to come back up again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I should follow this guy. Oh, I am following this guy. But for some reason, he just never shows up in my.
Yeah, that's the algorithm, my man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Takes all the control out of you.
Yeah, that is for the context what I was mentioning on that.
All right. I'm glad we got that cleared up because I was not getting it. Anyway, so what is today's show about, Lucius? Can you give us the rundown?
I usually don't have topics or anything. It's usually just bullshitting. There is something that was kind of a theme in like the feed today. Do you remember the infamous Jesus restoration picture that was a complete fucking flop.
The old lady who tried to restore it and ruined it.
It's like Ecce Homo. Which is like the torture, like snuff film part of Jesus's trials and tribulations.
Oh, you mean the Passion of the Christ?
Yeah, it kind of like, you know, it's the part where he's forsaken. But that's like the genre that it was, and that was the name of it. Trying to find the tab. There we are. And this was it.
Yeah, I remember this.
Oh man, like to get to this monstrosity over here. Like at some point, wouldn't you just stop and just say, I'm clearly not qualified to do this?
Well, no, because to stop would mean that you're self-aware enough that you wouldn't do it.
Oh, she was like 80. Like, why? She was just like somebody that went to this church and just said, you know, I think I could touch that up for you.
Yeah. And
this is what ended up being the result. And I guess they went back and actually got somebody with real credentials to try to fix it. I don't know where it went to after that. Whether the one on the left is like the fix after her fix, because it was originally this middle one, like it was flaking away.
I feel like this progression of images is sort of the metaphorical description of our current culture.
Well, there's going to be some stuff coming down the pipeline, like just because there's not that many people who are qualified to do things in positions where they should be. If you remember the what was it, the oil refinery hack where they held it for ransom?
Yes. And
they were asked, like, don't you guys have a way to like do this manually? And it's like, well, yeah, but everyone who knows how to do that isn't here anymore, or they've either died or they quit. Like, it's one or the other. Like, the people that have that knowledge are gone. So they were fucked. Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Yeah. And so anyways, following in the footsteps of that, I saw this doozy. There's a number of things I see of, like, usually it's cover variants of Marvel books that I'm just like, how did these people get this gig? I'm like, they're you know how they got it. Semi-amateur and everything like that. Now, I'm not saying this guy is this, but what they do to his stuff is just laughably bad.
Oh wait, is this the Asian picture?
Yes.
Oh my god, I remember this. They put eyes within the eyes.
Yes. And it's like, how is this an improvement?
They made her eyes smaller.
How does this?
It's like so racist what they did. So racist. Look at that.
I just wonder who this is the fix. This was the fix.
But this that's the thing, like his style, like the pupils, right? His on the left, right? His pupils are the black circles, and so the bottom of the lid is implied, right? So the eye is actually bigger. Mm-hmm. But they went ahead and colored it white.
Don't see where you thought
within the pupil. So it's like she's got two sets of pupils.
And he, this guy Greg Smallwood, like, he has like a thread of just being like, I would have gone back and changed it. Why did you guys just do this? It looks bad. Yeah. Like, he has multiple instances, but this just like really took the cake of like, how did you think this was an improvement? Yeah. How did the right improve on the left?
Some motherfucking editor who works there thought, you know what? That's racist. I'm gonna fix it.
Right, but it's one of those things too. Like, look at how off that just is.
Oh yeah,
like totally. Nobody's eyes look like that.
And plus, it's shoddily done as well. It's not well done.
Like, you would think that's a fake. Like, I would have thought this is like a Babylon Bee or even one of my shitty thumbnails where I'm just gonna shit it out and get it over with. But you're supposed to be one of the most professional publishing companies out there in terms of comics. They were.
Right.
And it's like, look how the mighty have fallen.
Yep.
I mean, this isn't even like one of their stupid get rid of cigars and drinks like guideline bullshit. This is
replace it with radios or something.
Yeah, and supposedly this is supposed to be less racist version, or the more Asian friendly one. I'm like, I don't think so.
No,
it's actually
worse than before. Congratulations, like guys.
Body snatcher stuff right there.
Yeah,
it's bad,
dude. Like, how would you, like? Let me ask you, how would you be if you were like an artist, right? And you did.
I'd be pissed because that's reflective of what you can do. Like
that's like, who was it? Was it Inkspots or was it you that was saying that one of your policies was if you'll do the artwork?
Inkspots. Like, I was Inkspots. Shit over somebody had changed the colors on his stuff.
Yes, that's right.
And he was really pissed off about it. I think it was a little. I didn't think it was that bad. Although what they posted to the internet was like a bad version of it.
Yeah.
And that was like having people shit on it, and that sucks. Like that has to suck. Like knowing like, no, this is not how it's supposed to look.
Yeah.
But it was like background trees. It wasn't like that one was to me, where it's just like, that's egregiously bad. What the fuck are you doing? Why would you tamper with something? But yeah, I can understand where it's just like, if you want me to change it, ask me to change it. Don't fucking change it, and then
because
like act like it's all my work.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, if I had a client who did that to me, I would never work with that client ever again.
And this is a
never again.
This is kind of in the same vein here.
Oh, that's hilarious.
This guy, he's like a 60-year-old security guard in a Russian fine art museum, and he just was bored. So
awesome.
He drew in with ballpoint pen eyes on the.
Good on him, because that painting isn't worth 100 million.
1 million is what it says. But
sorry,
no, I wouldn't say it's even that. I think they said the estimated art restoration on it's like 3,000. There's some. I don't know if this thing's gonna have all the comments.
Look at that piece of shit. That's not worth $1 million. Fuck off.
Yeah, I thought you would get upset by this. I thought Luke's not going to be able to control.
I'm glad that he drew eyes on it. It improved the painting.
But somebody's like, $3,000 restoration, dude. Just come into Home Depot where I'm at. I'll match up the paint and just tidy it up like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just like serendipitous that like I saw these things on the same day. So. Not that I come in with themes, but this was one that naturally came about, and I thought it was just funny and sad at the same time.
Yeah.
But you know, I think especially with that Marvel Elektra fuck up, it's just kind of like the door is wide open for you if you want. This is the level they're at. This is where we're at.
Well,
now.
you would think the door would be wide open, but it's not. The opposite.
And just to pile onto the share of Marvel.
All right, no comment to that. No comment to that then.
Well, no, I mean,
you don't even want to elaborate. I'm like, how do you mean, Luke? Or anything like
how do you mean, Luke?
No, it's too late now.
No, okay, sorry. It kind of sucks trying to run the show and be in the show at the same time here.
True. I guess I should do a better job as a co-host.
Well, you didn't really apply. You just kind of showed up enough. You sort of.
I just kind of kept showing up, didn't I?
Yeah.
When nobody else would. So.
Oh, thanks. Kick me down, man. But yeah,
I was trying to throw shade at other people, not you, Lucius.
Okay. All right. So this.
I saw this.
Did you actually read? Like,
no, I didn't. I just laughed and kept going.
Yeah, but it's kind of like induces tolerance. I'm like, geez, that sounds like something that'd be off a cereal box rather than like Marvel pantheon of heroes and stuff. But then you read it, and it's just like it gets worse as it goes along. He can chemically induce people into liking him.
So he's a psychopath.
It's like in the comments are like, so his superpowers is roofing people, like he just like drugging people. But I was just like reading this Benjamin Deeds, a gay University of Texas at Austin student. I was just like,
very specific.
Yeah. I'm willing to bet there's somebody under these descriptions here. I was just like, what a weird.
How oddly specific. How oddly specific.
Does it seem like a self-insert of some sort?
Well, I'm wondering, like, where does the current writer for this new issue, where do they live? Where do they go to school? I wonder. Who are they? You know?
But yeah, that's on the writing side. Like when you design a character, it's kind of like, so you thought how long on this?
Yeah.
What was the committee? Where was the committee on this?
How did you pitch this?
Veto?
What was the pitching process?
You know what his power is? He induces tolerance.
He makes people like him. He tricks them into liking him. He can be a complete asshole, but everyone likes him. That's his amazing superpower. Is that? And then they reply, "Wait, is that a power you wish you had?" No. Everyone just likes me normally, naturally. I've got lots of friends. It's like, well, can I see your Facebook friends list? No, I don't. I don't use Facebook. Forget that. No, who uses that? Not me. Like, you go check out his profile. He's got like 2 friends.
Oh, I don't know. Do you use Facebook anymore?
No, I don't.
Neither. Like, I'm on there.
But I feel like it's one of those people who would still be using it, you know?
Mm-hmm. The problem with social networks is the socializing part.
Yeah.
On a social network.
You should be a misanthrope like me.
Yeah, taking something that already is kind of painful and making it even more painful.
Well, it's supposed to make it easier.
Yes.
But the opposite.
That's kind of like it's kind of like a sword that cuts 2 ways.
I feel like this is every invention that Americans make. They invent something intended to be used one way, and then it ends up doing the exact opposite of what they choose to do.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like splitting the atom was supposed to solve an energy crisis, and so then they made bombs out of it.
Was that what they were going for? I thought they went for the bomb first.
I thought it was...
I think they had nuclear energy in mind, but I thought the bomb was like the primary driver on that. Because it's wartime, yeah.
You might be right. I could be completely wrong. Oh well.
But I was suffering from... it's been a couple of weeks of looking through your Twitter and just seeing like horrible takes on
everything.
A number of things. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, so now everything. Now you know why I have my Twitter privated. Now you know.
This is the one from today that caught my eye.
Whoa.
Now you can make out what that is, right?
That's the camera.
Yes.
And the camera stand.
A camera with a tripod mount that is, kind of set up on a bed to look like a gun, but this took you... Did you see this at all today?
I didn't. I just saw this now.
So your real-time breakdown of this is probably about the same as mine. Like I was like
2 seconds?
That's not a gun. Yeah, it's not a gun. What am I looking at? Oh, it's a camera. Okay. And then like you go to now these aren't the top ones. Like I guess it would be different if I was signed in.
Rabbits. These comments are killer.
Let's see, where's that? This, like when you get to these comments where it's like most of them don't know how to use it even though they think they do. Like the number of people that thought this was a gun and just started like doing their like soapbox speech.
No, I think he's actually joking, the first one.
Maybe, but I'm telling you,
I think he is. I think what he's saying is most of them don't even know how to use it, even though they think they do. He's talking about the hipsters who are into photography. I've seen horrible disasters with these things.
That's true.
In the wrong hands, they should be heavily regulated. He's talking about bad photographers.
Could very well be like you don't know how to interpret it.
Now I know exactly how to interpret it. This dude is doing the most epic of all trolls. It's the one where you can't tell if he's being serious or not.
I'm gonna pull up one right now. Just hopefully it will prove my point too. Pat Sajak from Wheel of Fortune actually has like a pretty funny Twitter feed and everything.
I'm still looking at the same one. Are we changing over yet?
Yeah, I'm changing it.
Oh, okay.
This takes a while. So he put out this one where he says, there's an alarming trend developing in which people are paying less attention to celebrities who are telling them how to live. Please, folks, we have been chosen to be celebrities for a reason. Ignore our experience and our wisdom at your own peril. And they were like, you read through, well, this, like, some of the highest rating ones are just like, you are so full. You're like, it's literally like a half and half split of people who understand like the irony of this, and there's people who don't see it at all. And it's just like, wow. Like, this is clearly over the top sarcasm being put on display here, and like people just could not get it.
Yeah, people can't. They just, that's the thing. Like, it's, you could call it, that's the thing. Like, I guess you could say Twitter is the death of nuance, right? Because when something's written down, it's fairly easy to misinterpret something that's written down as opposed to say when something is said. Because if I was to say that to you, Lucius, I'd be like, well, I mean, clearly, I'd have like a sarcastic tone to it, and you'd be like, oh, haha, I get you.
Like, especially if you like get some of these back to back. Like, I'm pulling both Sajak Singh Sinatra and Pat Sajak's yodeling favorites from Spotify. like, it's like clearly the guy has like a sense of humor, and I never thought the guy for Wheel of Fortune would be like this funny, but he's got a personality to him. Yeah. But it's just been sad to watch people like completely read these wrong, like take the wrong read on it.
Well, I mean, that's why I have my Twitter privated, because I'll just be like posting the most cryptic, most inflammatory tweets out there just for the reactions.
You have to open it up though, let the whole world react.
Well, no, I mean, I did, and it was like opening up your world to the madness of the human race. It's like Professor X opening up his mind to all the madness that is the human race all at once in one deafening blow, and losing his mind because of it. I can't go there.
Well, we all have our limits.
We do. And that's Twitter. Fuck Twitter.
Yes. I'm almost reaching.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. You're a son of a bitch. You know that?
Oh, sorry, man. I thought this might upset you too.
So you're like, this might upset him. Let's bring it on. No, look, I'm happy for Vaughn. I knew he was going to do well. And
well, I'm glad I saw this because this is one of the ones that ended up in my spam folder, actually. So I'm glad that he sent this out, because even though I was aware it launched, like, it's like, if I don't know how long it takes, 30 days or whatever, but it'll automatically delete that stuff. So I'm glad I moved it out of my spam folder into like my inbox. But I kind of dig this graphic here. I really love the fucking art of this project book. Here in the Trenches.
Cool.
Which is dropped on Indiegogo. Should we check on it? Should we look at it?
Nah, it's fine. We know it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Should we look at Forsaken Gods 2?
Nah, I don't think we should do that. Nah,
you done with that too?
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's been done. It's old hat now. It's all about tearing the trenches now, buddies. Because it's got more skulls, I guess. What are you doing?
Sorry. Actually, do you know the name of the artist?
Monica McCagney. I think that's her last name.
It's kind of one of the things that annoys me a lot. Is like this project does not feature her name that much. Monica. All right. I'll do a little search on that. But I don't want to upset you any further than I already have.
It's too late. It's too late now. I hate you, Lucius.
Sorry.
A pox upon your house.
Is that bad?
Yep. Poxes. Nothing but poxes.
Pox on your house, Lucius.
You know, I was thinking about the last stream last week.
Mm-hmm.
I liked when Cecil came in and he said, which country is more gay, Australia or Canada? I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, and you kind of gave Australia the gay rating.
Look, I gave an honest answer. All right, that's what I did. I was just telling it like it was. That's all I was doing.
I'm switching it up. We're gonna be feeding the ducks now.
Let's feed some ducks.
That's going on in the background now.
I like it.
StreamYard duck.
I like it. It's very nice. Very chill.
Speaking of chill.
Ooh.
This madness happened.
Someone's talking in the background.
It happens from time to time. But we
Why is he doing that?
She.
Oh.
I don't know. What's more perplexing is why is this person just standing there? Like, why? I would be like slamming this person down.
God. It's all right. She slammed herself down. Don't worry about it.
Probably all sorts of fucked up there. But this has got to be thousands of dollars on the floor.
Yeah.
Easily. I would just be like livid.
She's cut with her right hand and covered in blood now.
Wow. She's either like.
And I wonder how long this went on before like anyone came in to like arrest her or anything.
Yeah, where was security and all this?
I was wondering about the time lapse. Like when did shit start going down versus?
Well, judging by the number of bottles on the ground, I'd say it started a little earlier.
Right.
At the very least.
And it's like if some psycho came into your liquor store, could they literally trash the whole place before cops show? Like, would you just sit there and watch your entire inventory get wiped out?
Well, I feel like there's like some kind of stupid law that prevents you from like retaliating or something. Because if that was my liquor store and they were doing that to me, I'd freaking have my shotgun ready. I'd be pulling it out.
Baseball bat, something.
Or at least a baseball bat, at least. Yeah, probably a baseball bat. That's probably better. Shotgun's like the backup. But yeah, that's fucked up. These people, they've grown up without any respect for other people's property.
That seemed like drug or rage fueled. Like that was just beyond any reason.
I guess so.
I don't know. Like clearly you're stepping across the lines of like, okay, we'll walk away. You pay us for this. I mean, they still might do it, but you break a bottle or you just like you lose your shit, you lose your cool, you just break a few. It's like you can cover that.
Yeah.
Like, how are you gonna cover that whole thing? Like you went into a realm where it's like consequences have to follow that kind of a thing.
Not in Clown World.
Think, anyway. Yeah.
Not in Clown World. In Clown World, there are no consequences except for people who don't deserve them.
So you got anything
no
popped up on your radar? No. Nothing's happening for you?
Well, I mean, I've just been trying to oh god, I can't even find my words. God damn it. Let's help me out here, Lucius, because I can't talk anymore apparently because senility has set into my feeble mind. I've just been in marketing mode, I guess is probably the best way to put it. That's all I've been focusing on 24/7. Just trying to get on shows, stuff like that. So I apologize, I'm incredibly boring in that regard. But I don't mind sitting back and just chewing the fat, talking shit, right?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's totally my deal.
like I guess, part of me is just like, I don't know. I guess I'm just checking out. I'm just done. I'm done with the news, dude. I'm just done with it. It's just every day there's just some new fucking bullshit going on. I'm just like,
true that.
I could just tune out for like, a month and tune back in, and the same bullshit is probably still fucking happening. It just wears on you. You just don't care anymore. Maybe that's the whole point of them making everything so crazy and deliberate. It's just it just becomes white noise, and then that becomes the new normal.
I don't know what normal is anymore. I don't think they know what normal is anymore. They changed the definition.
Well, yeah, the science has changed once again, my boys and girls.
Are you a phone guy? Do you like phones?
What the fuck is this?
This is the Galaxy X22, man.
How many cameras are there?
Yeah, I know, man. It's getting nuts.
5 cameras. 4. Is that 5 cameras?
I think one is a sensor. So that's for like your light.
Which one's the sensor?
And then the other are a bunch of like either wide angle, super wide angle, tele lenses and everything.
That's ridiculous.
I got stylus going with it.
Yeah. So no, I'm not really a phone guy.
No,
not really. No.
I saw this pop up today, and I'm like, oh shit.
Oh shit!
And then they're like,
the new Galaxy. Better buy that.
They start at like $1,000. I'm like, oh shit.
Well, I mean, yeah, you got to pay for all those extra cameras. Of course.
It's everything, man. And they, it's kind of like if you get into it and you start watching some of these reviews and stuff, like $1,000 you spend on this phone, and one of the things that they've always been pushing up is like your charge time, everything like that. So now they have super fast charging, where like essentially you can go from a 0% charge to 100% charge on like half hour ish amount of time.
Oh wow!
And but they won't give you like the setup to do that. Like if you still have like an old like charger brick and cord and everything, like 10 watts or whatever like that, that's your charge time. Like you've advanced none at all, and you pay $1,000 for this new phone, and it's like all you get is the phone and the cord. You don't get the brick. So like make use of like the charge time. And it's just like, if you're gonna make this a feature, shouldn't you have the shit inside? But they kind of pack in like, oh, we're about saving the environment, and so we're not including chargers with things anymore because everyone has a charger now. And it's like,
but do they have the latest charger, Lucius? That's the real question.
Well, and it's fucked up because, all right, those are like the this would be like Detective Comics of phones, right? Like it's the flagship Samsung phone, the Galaxy.
Yeah. And
they don't include a charger, yet you'll buy, if you go out and you buy like the $400 like cheapskate version of a phone, they'll include all this like they'll give you like headphones, they'll give you the charging brick, the cord, like they'll even include like booklets just saying welcome to the team, welcome to the family,
welcome to phone family.
Yeah. and it's just like, why the fuck is it like I'm paying at least half the price, but I'm getting way more shit? And with my, it's crazy what they get by with and what they do.
Here's a question for you, kind of a bit of a similar thing. What are your thoughts on artists who draw their comics entirely on iPad?
I suppose it's all right. I mean, that's my drawings I do on or my digital drawings, I do that all on iPad Pro. Procreate.
Well, I figured, I know that. I figured you'd be the best person to ask because I don't fucking do that shit.
I mean, I've never taken it to print. That's kind of one of the, I guess the hidden dangers is, that's with anything though. Like I've worked in programs that were specifically for publishing, and watching what was on my screen be fucked up when I hit print. Like I mean, completely fucked up. Like you're talking about font setting just completely out of whack. Like the kerning, leading, like, and it's like, how the hell does this even happen? How do you? I'm literally like, if you were looking at, like, say the text in our names, and there was like 5 inches of space between the H and the E in your name.
Yeah.
And yet you're looking at it on your screen as is, and you're just like, okay, well, I guess I'll just tweak it a little bit. Like, yeah, I forget what the kerning units are, but you know, you just go up or down like a few notches, and you figure, okay, now I'll try it again and see how that looks. Same fucking issue or something completely different. And I was just like, what the fuck is going on with this? And I remember it was in a class, and it's really aggravating when you're a student or something like that, and you're paying every fucking print you do of something, and it's coming out fucked up every fucking time.
Wow.
And you're just like, I fucking hate this. Graphic design shit drove me nuts, man. So it's always been like one of the things that makes me clinch up a little bit, is just like, what is the print? What is the final thing going to be?
Yeah. What's it? How crisp is it going to look? You know.
And within Procreate, I think, at least for the sizes I do, I can't really go past 600 DPI without it like crashing the RAM or making it go really like it'll tell me like can't happen, or it's like it limits my layers. It's been a while since I've done 600 DPI. Now I'm kind of set at 450 DPI. But I would only have 5 layers to work with at 600.
I think you can do it at 300 DPI.
Yeah, I've heard. I try to give myself leeway on it. You know,
whenever you up the DPI, you're exponentially upping the file size when you don't really need to.
Yeah. But I was always told go 300 to 600. And so I was like, well, I might as well go 600. You can always, scale it down. You can't really scale up. So I always try to max it out.
But I mean, look, I'd probably say the most you probably should do is probably 350.
All right. I mean, I actually dig doing my sketches in 300. I don't know what it is about 300, but for me, the pen setting sizes and everything, it just seems like more of a natural feel to it.
Yeah.
Whereas when I go up, they feel really thin and everything like that.
Well, that's the other thing people don't realize, and this happens in Photoshop as well, is that when you have pre-made pens, if you go up too high in resolution, like what you just described with DPI, the pen settings are still going to stay the same, right? It's just they're going to be smaller now in comparison to the canvas. And so when you scale it up, it doesn't scale up sort of like the other smaller little things like, jitter and texture, whatever you got to go and you got to readjust them just for that size.
But I think it's all about who wields it. I've seen really good shit come out of
Thor wields it.
That's right.
All right, continue.
But I think I've noticed on I think Tim Lim uses Procreate, and I've seen some of his stuff where I'm just like for his book and everything, I'm just like, dude, you got so many gaps in your colors. Yeah, he's using there's neat shortcuts, but it always falls short because it doesn't have anti-aliasing, or it does, and it fucks up with the where things meet. Yeah, and selection groups and everything like that. If you want a bona fide true colored piece, you have to go in there and do it pretty much manually. Zoom in. Yeah, it's painstaking to do, but it's really easy to drag and drop and fill in a thing. But you have all these dead pixels, empty pixels, things like that. Yeah. So I see people take that cheap way out. I don't think it's a good look.
Me neither. Which is why I asked you the question initially, because I don't know if I kind of, because Tim Lim was one of the things that comes to mind, because I think he showed a picture of his drawing desk setup at some point before he moved, because he moved back near where Mark is, and it was just this little iPad in this embedded in this drawing desk. I'm like, you seriously, you draw on that? This tiny little thing, right? Like you need a big-ish, you need at least a moderately sized canvas in order to draw it, even if you're drawing digitally, at least in my opinion. But
I think there's people on different sides of that camp. Like I always kind of wanted to have like a giant Cintiq. I just never wanted to blow the money on one.
Well, the thing with Cintiqs, there's different kinds. There's 3 sizes. You got the small, you got the medium, you got the large. I've got a medium one, and you really only.
What size is that?
So
like,
that's
what's the inch count.
That's the 21 UX.
Is that 21 inches for the full thing or your screen?
I think that's the screen. But
that's pretty big.
It more or less. Well, it's 21 inches squared, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a square, but not. I'm looking at it now. It's kind of a bit square, but it's kind of nice. It's because there are new ones now. The newest ones, they're like more like widescreens.
Mm-hmm.
And while I can appreciate that people might like that because it leaves more room for them to draw and leave the sort of tools on the side and focus more on the drawing part. Yeah, I'm not. You know, they don't do it for me. You know, but that's just.
Yeah, and I've heard some people prefer like even I hated the Intuos tablet. I had that.
Oh yeah,
and which is just for people who don't know, that's just like a grayed out. Like you can't see what you're drawing.
Yeah. It's like a trackpad.
Yeah, you have to look at your screen to see what you're actually fucking doing, which is
totally unnatural. Totally.
Yeah, but some people have worked themselves to doing that. Like I couldn't do it.
They can do it. I don't know how they can do it. It drove me nuts when I had one.
And some of them like the smaller size. Like I heard Dan Frega talk about using iPad, and even Scotsman talking about using iPad for his coloring. Because it's something you can take on the go, like if you're traveling and stuff like that. Like it's pretty easy to pack it away and take it with you. And if you just want to watch TV, chill somewhere, like not in your like work spot or desk or whatever, like you can take it pretty easy and do that.
Well, the thing is, Wacom, right now they have a portable version of their Cintiq, which is probably I think better than the iPad, which you can do on the go. It's like a portable. It's like a portable PC screen. It's actually really cool. It's like super expensive though.
Yeah, that's always kind of been the problem. Although iPads aren't cheap either. So
yeah, well, I mean that's the thing. Do you want to get like sort of like baby's first, drawing tablet, or do you want to get like something that's pro? You know what I mean?
Well, every tablet has its pros and cons. I've heard a lot of artists like the iPad Pro for the really the way the pencil works with the like it's set up to work with the stylus and the screen, and there's not that much like of a parallax, the space from the screen to like the touch sensor. So when you're drawing on it, it pretty much feels like, as far as what I've read and heard from most people who've tried out a number of these, it's the most closest feel to like drawing directly on paper. Like it just
people have said that.
Yeah. And I can't really speak to what the what is drawing on a Cintiq and stuff. I found it a learning curve getting used to stylus, like that plastic on glass kind of feel and everything.
The problem with the Apple stylus is that it's like way too thin.
Well, I have like the older one, which is chunkier.
Okay. Well, the Cintiq
it's completely round. Like there's things about the design of it that just like, why the fuck did they do this? So like, it's completely round. So you set it down on a desk. If there's any tilt, it's gonna roll away.
If there's any slight breeze and there's not even a single piece of dust in its way.
Yeah.
It'll just
and
roll.
The charger end on it, like you had to plug it in. Now it's a magnetic one that latches onto the side and just charges that way. But the original one, you had to plug into the end of it, but you have your pencil stylus sticking out like 6-7 inches out of it, like just waiting to get knocked off by anything.
Broken, yeah.
And I lost the pen cap. I don't know how many times, the charger cap. I got a grip for it just to keep that from getting lost all over again.
Wow.
So it has its drawbacks, but I've gotten used to it over time. I think it's suitable. I think you know, if you can get a good deal on it. Like I picked it up on Amazon Prime deal a couple years ago for like $600, which, you know, it's a lot, but it's not that much. Like when you consider what, like if you get yourself like a true professional grade rig of Cintiq computer that can handle it, and
well, the good news is when you buy a Cintiq, you only have to buy one.
Hopefully, hopefully you're not one of these. Yeah, you're not one of these people that like gets dead on arrival or dies after the.
Sure, I mean there is always that problem, but I mean I've had mine for like long number of years now, at least 7. And,
what happens if it just suddenly crapped down on you? How shit out of luck would you be?
Well, now that you said that, it probably will tomorrow. In which case, I'm fucked. But
could you get another one if you had to?
No, not right now. I mean, technically I could, but I mean, given the way supply chain is right now, probably not. I'd probably have to wait. And then I would just be super fucked on so many levels, you know.
And I think in the last batch of releases Apple did, they like made like a iPad mini. Like it's a miniature version of an iPad.
Okay. So it's a large iPhone?
Kind of, yeah. I thought it was kind of weird, but I was like, oh, well, it's, you know, more portable. But it was fascinating in the fact that, so they have in their product line, I believe there's this new iPad mini, the iPad Air, which is just a thin iPad, the iPad and the iPad Pro. And I think they finally, at least with the iPad mini and iPad Pro, you can use the pencil with it, and it has like all the features to it. So it has tilt function and all that. Like it picks up like how you're positioning the pen. It's not just like tracking it like trackpad style and pressure sensitivity and all that. But for some reason, the iPad Air didn't. And there's just like weird limits on what they have and don't have working on stuff. So I think the iPad mini is actually cheaper, but it has less in terms of like RAM and things like that. So you'll probably run into, you know, bringing it to its knees a lot easier. You know, you get one of those like paintbrush brushes that you use, you know, like oil paint one or whatever like that like kind of blends it as it goes and all that, but it uses up a ton of like your RAM while you're doing that.
CPU,
yeah.
You just hear it ticking like.
It's very seldom I've managed to do that on my iPad. It's usually like when I'm using like the biggest possible brush I can, and like I'm usually filling in the background. But if I'm quick about it, like it'll be lagging behind. It's the only time I've really noticed that. It doesn't follow it like 1-to-1 as I'm drawing. But I would say that's really the only limit I've hit. I think you could do all right drawing on an iPad if you're thinking about it.
No, I'm not. I just
okay.
In fact, I'm the furthest away from ever wanting to do that ever in my life.
I think digital is such a pain in the. I mean, for me, I don't know about you, but I found digital to be such like a pain in the ass learning curve that once I kind of settled into what worked for me, I don't really want to fuck with it that much.
Yeah.
Like there's people I get impressed by with their ability to technically do things. Like they'll just make a brush that does something that would take me like hours to do by hand, but I'd rather do the by hand part than mess around and try to figure out all the stuff to make this brush do what I want it to do.
What do you mean? It's super easy. I make brushes all the fucking time.
Don't make me feel stupid, dude.
I'm not making look. Okay, Lucius, you go into what? No, I'm not gonna. But no, I mean, it's like, look, I understand the trepidation towards digital stuff because I used to be the same way. Like when I was first storyboarding, this is before Storyboard Pro started, or really took off, and people in the industry started using it. Up until that point, I was using Photoshop, and you know, I even scoffed at using Storyboard Pro. I was like, nah, I'm not going to use that shit. Photoshop's the way to go. Hell yeah. But the thing was, like, the more I was really hesitant, but then when I took the plunge and I kept doing it more and more and more, I realized, using Storyboard Pro is so much more easier, it's so much more powerful, and you can get so much more done in a smaller amount of time than if you're going to be fucking, messing around with Photoshop, which doesn't have any of the features that Storyboard Pro has. And so, it's like trying to assimilate the rigid knowledge, right, that comes with learning something new is always going to be hard, because you're basically transferring rigid knowledge into fluid knowledge, which is fluid knowledge is the knowledge that you have sort of absorbed, and sort of it's part of it just flows for you.
Muscle memory. You just
in a way it's muscle
plug
memory,
it in and go. Yeah.
But your understanding of it is fluid. You know how it all works. And that's sort of, I think that's I know it's true for me because I've always had a learning disability, but I'm sure it's true of other people as well.
Yeah. I mean, I used to be like, I think when I started, I was trying to do everything on like one layer.
Yeah.
Using just like a paint tool or something like that, and just like hating the results. Like
I think that would be a fun challenge, though.
Well, some people do it that like I think that's what digital painting is supposed to mean, is like you're not really doing a bunch of layers and stuff. You're approaching it like if you're doing a real painting in a digital format, where like you're building it up on one layer and working the colors, blending them together. There's no like really, and people are super serious about it. Like they won't even like do the undo button and stuff like that. It's like if you fuck up, it's like, all right, well, paint over it or work it in somehow. And a number of people will learn from that. I've heard people say like they'll be amazed somebody watching them do it that way, where it's like straight up one layer. Just your art skills are what determines how it ends up looking. They're like, wow, that's really great. And then that person will look at the other person, like on like what I just talked about, where it's like they just made a brush that did like this crazy cross hatching that looks completely natural, and in like 5 seconds they did what would have taken somebody like probably 4 hours to do. If they had done it like each individual
hatch.
Yeah. So there's all sorts of stuff where
I've got brushes like that. Yeah.
Well, I've downloaded some that do like pretty much like the perfect hatch marks, but I find it really like annoying because I have to slow myself down to make sure I apply it correctly. It's like it's depending on my angle, and then also like the pressure sensitivity and everything else, like what it's going to turn out like. And so I'm just redoing the same line like 30 times to get it just the way I want it. And then I start looking at like, man, it looks so mechanical. It just looks like inorganic, like how perfect it is. And then
you gotta like add a little noise to that, that little buddy. Yeah.
And stuff like that. So I usually just grab like a standard like technical pen tool, and that's mostly what I use, unless I'm coloring stuff.
What you do is you take your standard technical pen, do all the hashes ahead of time, just a page of hashes, and then save that as a texture later on that you can apply later.
I might do that.
And so you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I tried doing.
And if you're really smart about it, what you do is you get the pencil, do the hashes, make it a texture, but then make the texture tileable, and then attach it to a stamp, make it a stamp. So, and then in a sense, that's kind of like your brush, but it's your brush. It's not mechanical. It's like really nice and organic. But
yeah, I tried doing like taking small like 4x6, 5x7 sheets of paper and like just doing random ink ink splatter smear, or just like taking an ink dropper and just dropping it and letting it soak in, or like tilting it and getting like all sorts of different kind of what would you call it? Brush tips, I guess.
Yeah.
Like the start of it, and then seeing how those work. But I think I only fooled around with it a little bit. I didn't really go deep dive in on it. But with Procreate, they have it set up where you have their library, and you can pretty much swap textures and brush tips in their file settings to like be one or the other. So I've messed around with that a little bit, but I'm all right with like they have some pretty good out of the box brushes to use, and I just kind of learned which ones I don't like, which is most of them. Which ones I do like, and it's probably 4 or 5 that I swap between 99% of the time.
Okay.
This is probably all boring technical stuff for anybody.
No, I mean, I find it interesting just because, I think Procreate's a piece of shit. And I'm sorry, Lucius.
Have you tried using it?
I think I tried to use it a long time ago, and I wasn't impressed because there's just a severe lack of control over what you've just described. Like,
I find the layout part of it really fucking annoying. Like now they have what they call like magnetics and snapping and stuff that makes it a little easier. But like when I really want to line up,
why not
text and things like that, it really comes to shore.
Why are you using this when you can, just use Paint Tool Sci or some shit? There's like a billion other fucking things out there that are like way better than what fucking they've got. Procreate. Who does Procreate? Is it Adobe?
I forget the name. It's not Adobe though. I don't remember the name of the company that does it.
Okay.
It's $10. I mean, for $10, I've purchased a lot worse shit.
I disagree.
For more.
Okay. All right.
I'm not saying it's super professional grade level, but I think it does a pretty good job for $10. Like,
didn't that dude, what's his name? Ethan Nicole. You know who I'm talking about?
Ethan Nicole, no.
So Ethan Nicole used to be a contributor to the Babylon Bee, like one of the main contributors before they fired him recently.
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy who created Axe Cop. And you know what Axe Cop is, right?
No. What is that?
Okay. All right. It's a show. It got really popular for some reason. Anyway, he used to do like animated things on his iPad. And I forget what it was that he used, and I think it might have been Procreate because they didn't look very good. So that's my story, and I'm gonna end it right there.
Yeah, I never.
I had no way to go with that. I did not know where I was going with that.
Well, I do. It is kind of disheartening. Like, what would you say is? I think they called the '90s like the golden age of animation.
Are we going into animation that we're not going to talk about?
Well, you brought up Axe Cop, and I'm looking at it now in my Google image search here.
Oh.
And this just looks like your typical Netflix, Hulu animation kind of thing. It's like this new. I guess it's Flash is what most studios.
But this is old. Axe Cop is old.
Well, I'm just saying style-wise, it reminds me of like. What's the fucking one on Castlevania and Dota? Like these things I'm seeing on Netflix of like animation series, Netflix animation series.
Yeah.
And then like if you watch it, like there's never like a good animation shot. It's like it's all like mediocre stuff like the whole way through.
Was that the same with Castlevania? Really?
I felt like on the first season of it. I haven't watched it all the way through. I've seen some on Twitter, like some animators like post like their clip, like their minute of animation they did, and like, oh, okay, that looks like a great shot, but like then I go back and I watch something like Ninja Scroll, and I'm like, this is like fucking awesome all the way through. I fucking love it, and I love like that era, like the '90s.
Nice
set
anime.
Of like animation and anime and everything. Like it was like what, like we were talking about the loss of talent and ability.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is like certainly this stuff has only gotten easier with like the technology.
Yeah.
These are all like hand painted cells and shit back in the day. Like,
well, that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, it is easier for one person to get better results. I mean, look at my trailer, right? Like that's proof in the pudding, right there.
That's right.
But the thing was, I was going off of the old limitations of animation back in like the 70s and 80s. You know what I mean? Where it's just like held frames and maybe I think I talked
about the Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah, like held drawings and then just animate like the mouth or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just maybe a single pose or something like that.
Mm-hmm. But I just find even like the drawing style of these new like even with that, like a number of them, just like they look bad. I'm just like, who decided on this style? Like this is what
people who don't understand how character design and art direction work, and then they fire the people who do because I don't know, whatever fucking reason. They just well, I mean, we're kind of going through this strange anti-aesthetic brutalist movement right now, which is really weird. Like it's like things cannot look beautiful because it's oppression or some bullshit.
Oh well, new like setting of the bar. Like I guess there was like a.
I mean, if you want to call it a setting of the bar, I call it a lowering of the bar.
Yeah, I would say so, but I don't know how they would define it. But I saw something with Adele today where she performed at a gender neutral awards show or something,
right?
And she said she was proud to be a woman or happy to be a woman, and this insulted people. I was like, really? Like, this is where we're at now. Like, this is an outrage. Let me see if I can find the story here.
Well, I mean, like her and Rebel Wilson are probably like the greatest glow-ups of all history.
Let's see here. Copy
you know
link
that?
And I'll bring it over.
You agree? Disagree?
What's that?
Like Adele and Rebel Wilson, like they're the glow-ups of history.
Glow up. Sorry. You have to explain that one to me.
Oh, like they went from being a 0 into looking like 100.
Oh, I mean, I never thought she was like ugly, but yeah, she's definitely gotten hotter. I saw this thing of her today, and I'm like, damn.
So I say good on them. Good on them.
The whole like our relationship is going to fuel my next album. I mean,
look at her. She lost that weight and she looks fucking smoking, bro. Good on her. She's kicking ass, and they just hate her so much now because before she was the talented fat woman, right? She was one of them, but then she she's like, yeah, put in the hard work and she shed the pounds, and now she's the hot talented woman. They can't have that, right? Because now she's not one of them.
And it'd be curious to know. I remember reading she had a horrible like stage anxiety and stuff. Like she'd be vomiting before every show and all this stuff. Like, then it's either fat shaming or her weight becoming an issue one way or the other. And now it's like she gets, according to the New York Post, she's slammed for saying she loves being a woman. It's kind of like,
hey man.
At what point are you just like, I'm tapping out, I'm done?
Yeah, right.
I don't want to do this shit anymore.
Go back up.
The nerve.
I mean, look at her. If you look like that, wouldn't you be proud to be a woman?
I'd flash it around a little bit, yeah. Why not?
Like if you looked as hot as she does right now, right? You'd be like, you know what? I worked hard. I'm proud of this. I'm proud of being who I am. I think that's what she's saying, and they just fucking shout on her for it. It's like, fuck them. You go, Adele. You're the number one singer in the world. You've got our support.
Says, good. But yeah, that was one of those things I saw. I'm just like, really? Like that's all it took? Like,
yeah, but I mean, that's the news cycle now. Like these motherfuckers need outrage to post so that people click on it.
What are we supposed to be doing, man?
I don't know anymore.
I did that. I'm guessing that's a valid.
I agree with Mike Wilson. I'd hit that too.
She's got money.
Yeah, I don't really care about the money.
I think
guys don't care. Guys aren't really interested if you're a woman who makes more money than them. In fact, they're not really.
Usually it's the women who aren't interested if they're making more money than you.
Well, actually, the women are interested if you're making more money than them.
They are?
Yeah, they are.
I've heard there's been like a double back. Like, they're making more money and they have no problem. Like, I forget. There was a point at which, like, women are always looking for someone better.
Yes.
And so if they're making $100,000 a year, you better be making $200,000 a year.
Yes.
Something like that. It's just kind of like, well, you're really limiting your dating pool.
Exactly.
Right now.
This is the conundrum right now, because women were sold this lie saying, in order to be happy, you don't need a family, you need a career. Mm-hmm. So they all got given careers and they all got these massive paychecks and they weren't happy. Because one, it wasn't fulfilling their biological need to have children, which, you know, every human has, or at least every human female has at one point in their life. It's very rare when they don't. Because that's the primary drive for our existence, is our ability to procreate. And two, they had all this money, but they were also sold in the lie that men will be attracted to you more if, like, you earn a lot of money, which is actually untrue as well. In fact, men find that quite unattractive if you're a woman and you earn twice as much as they do. And in fact, a lot of women don't find men attractive if they don't earn more than them. And that's the other thing, because men always date like across and down the social strata, whereas women date across and up the social strata.
So it's all fucked up.
Yeah. It's been intentionally fucked up. So we're fucked. Congratulations.
But I remember hearing from somebody who was just saying, like, actually it's like kind of turned so far that it's sort of gone back in on itself, where women like the feeling of domination over a guy at the low end.
Anyone
I know you say that. I'm just saying this is like somebody who's like,
well, they're wrong because
with relationship issues.
Any woman who makes that claim is lying.
No, I
she's
think,
lying to herself and she's lying to you.
I think there's a fair bit of
I mean, sure, there might be exceptions, but they're exceptions. Yeah. And those, I probably gather those exceptions don't even make up 1% of the population.
Maybe. I don't know. I just feel like we're heading into like, there's new horrors being discovered in the realms of
dude, this is just the tip of the iceberg. We got way more shit to go through. Because someone got in these bitches' ears and they fucking ruined it for everybody. So, hang on, it's gonna be a fucked up ride. You're fine because you already got a lady. You're like the last guy on the chopper leaving Nam, whereas I'm still on the ground going, no. I'm like that guy in Platoon who like puts his hands up in the air in slow motion as he's getting shot from behind.
You're at least an Australian in America. You know, you got kind of like a cheat code going for you.
I used to, but now it's like
not so much.
Not so much. Well, one, I just don't want to engage with anyone anymore. Everyone's fucking crazy.
You've hit that point in life where you just said, "Yeah, no." I did a cost-benefit analysis, and
dude, I
no,
totally did. No, thank you. Because they're fucking crazy now. They're all fucking nuts. I can't have conversations with these people.
No, yeah. Even if you didn't know outright you had issues with them, like there's times I'm like, how the fuck am I gonna carry on any level of conversation with this person?
What the hell do I have in common with this person who thinks that the world is constantly trying to kill them, or like has this vague sense that everyone's out to get them or some bullshit? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like who wants to be around that? Nobody wants to be around that.
No one, yeah.
Which is why I'm surprised you always bring me back on here.
It's all right. Here we go. We got some.
Oh, hey, sweet.
Feel good stuff going on here.
Hooray! You've cheered me up. Thanks, dude. That's hilarious.
No, I just want to put something on.
You know what? Dogs are the best. Dogs are great. He's so happy he's playing in the snow. It's some game. It's some game that he's invented. You know?
It's like, at some point, this person was shoveling snow, and this dog was just like, yeah, that looks like fun. And then that's what it became.
Throws it, and I got to make sure I hit it. Yeah. That's the game. That's the game.
It's adorable.
That is adorable.
Like
I always find it funny that dogs and kids always seem to get it right all the time,
Pretty much, I like there's like I think it's a Twitter account or maybe it's a TikTok one where it's just like kids just like making shit up or whatever, like where they just find like crazy shit to do.
Yeah.
You're just like, put kids outdoors and just watch what happens.
Yeah,
like
put them outdoors and give them a box.
Like a whole gang of them like pull down the sturdiest tree limb they could find on the lower level and put one, like the lightest kid at the end, and they like get like a rhythm going, and then they all let go and just launch the kid off the branch at the end. It's like the collective weight of 10 of them let go of this. Let's see what happens.
He'll probably die. No, he won't. Because kids are small enough where they're size cushions, therefore. But
they're bouncy. They're malleable.
Yeah.
You got cartilage.
Unlike us, we don't got no cartilage anymore. At least I don't. But whatever. You know, I was looking. We talked about VTubers, right? You can take this down now.
Okay. You tired of the dog?
Yeah, I'm tired now.
All right.
I'm just interested
in
VTuber. We were talking about VTubers, weren't we?
At one point, long ago, yeah.
Because they keep coming up on my YouTube feed now and then, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I like occasionally I click them and I just look at them and I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ, this is fucking bullshit. It's just total fucking bullshit, dude. Because it's these women, right?
Mm-hmm. With
these high squeaky voices sounding like fucking retarded morons. And kids fucking lap it up.
You sound a little disgruntled, man.
Do I?
A little bit.
But you get what I mean, right? It's like
I go.
The world is burning, and these fucking bitches have the little puppets, the digital puppets, like bobbing around, moving their mouths, saying stupid ass shit, being like, I don't know, maybe I'm just turning into an old man that's telling all the kids to get off his lawn, but it's just like...
kind of, but I do think we passed the point of like sanity.
Maybe.
To insanity here. I think on that, the Mouse Utopia or whatever experiment, where the mice are fed
Universe
no matter
54,
what.
I think it was. Or 52 or 51.
I forget, but essentially they stop procreating, they start developing these weird fucking mental states they had a whole set of them like called the pretty ones who were just like obsessed with grooming themselves and like to the point of like they rip out their fur.
Yeah, I remember
nothing else
this.
to fucking do.
I remember this, and like they would, like the pretty ones, they'd have like there'd be like mice that would guard them and stop any other mice from getting into them.
It was essentially like they stopped procreating. There's no like evolutionary pressures or survival pressures to like push them to coupling or relying on each other.
Yeah.
And it just like devolved to the point where like soon enough they stopped like they exploded and then they leveled off and then they like dropped off a cliff in terms of like their reproduction rate. And it's like, it's funny because it seems like that's exactly what's happening in society.
It does, but it doesnn't, because there's one big difference between mice and men, and that is that mice can't create things; they can only consume.
Yeah, I guess so, but I still think like that.
Because look, we're building rockets, dude. We're building rockets. Mice don't. I bet if there was a smart mouse in there that could build rockets to get the fuck out of that place, I bet he'd be fucking doing
it. I just love that they have to make rockets.
But you get what I mean, right? The problem, like the one big problem about Universe 54 is like we as humans, we are destined to be a spacefaring species, whereas mice are not. They are, because they're a lower level life form, they're only destined to live on this planet. That's what they've adapted themselves to, whereas we are quite adaptable to varying environments if given the proper, I guess, incentive or, proper tools to sort of live in that environment, so to say.
I would sort of say yes and no to that. I think there's a point where, like, just look at society for the past 2 years, what they've tried to force through, and just like how it's failed, like monstrously failed, and like what they have to do to try to make it work, and how far it has to go, and just seeing how quickly it can just fall. I think there's a natural state to humanity, and I think there's one of the more interesting, I guess, fictional universes I tapped into in the past year or so is like the Warhammer series. I mean, it's just like a ton of lore, and it gets into I just watched through a guy who's really only giving like almost bullet point information, and it was just the God Emperor, the history of the God Emperor.
Yep.
And it's like 3 hour-and-a-half videos of him just talking through it, and it's nonstop. Like I was more amazed as after this is like around the time I put together like the review video for you, finding out how many times I fuck up just recording, like even stuff I have written out, and I have to go back and re-record it, because I find that way easier than try to like record it in one go and then edit it afterwards. It's just like, okay, I fucked up that sentence. Let me go back, re-record that sentence. And this guy is just like nonstop, hour and a half talking.
Yeah, he's like your boy Zach. He can just
except it's actually organized too. Like it's presented to you. Okay, this is where it started. This is the next thing. Like, and you don't really lose. There's a whole lot of shit. There's a lot of plates spinning in this story, and you don't really get lost. He has images synced up, and I'm like, man, this was just like an editing, like what I would consider an editing nightmare, but this guy made it all work together. But at any point, he's giving like bullet point info on it, and we're talking 3 hour-and-a-half videos made of it. So altogether 4.5 hours of stuff, and there's way more beyond that. This is just central to this one character, but they talk about like the golden age of humanity, the dark age of humanity, and all this stuff. But the irony of it all is like the God Emperor was supposed to be this guy who wanted to spread complete scientific universality, like what is it called, humanist kind of agenda. Like there's not a religion attached to it.
The human empire,
but there's no religious zealotry or anything of that. It's all scientific information is
but if it's Warhammer, then it's like they're all about religious.
Yes, but this is the thing. Like he was trying to create this utopia that was devoid of religion, but in trying to do that, he actually almost pushed it towards that. Yeah, but it was a religion of him. And he even
he
even tries to strike it down, only to then push it further. Like it's like this great irony of just like,
if you're going to sit in a trance on a throne for centuries as your body slowly decomposes, as you battle like what do you call it, like psychic demons in the astral plane for centuries, people are going to form a religion around you whether you like it or not, dude.
Well, that was kind of this thing, is that there's a huge like civil war that happens between them, because there was like religious fanatics develop, and then they find out that these dark gods exist, and they cloud their perception of things, which leads to the civil war. And then the emperor is like clung to basically like a life support system, and therefore can never leave, but he's also the guiding force of their empire.
Well, yeah,
and
because he's like the gateway that he keeps open is their only form of gateway.
Right, he's basically like the guide for everybody. That's all he can do is just basically kind of guide
keep the door open at least, you know.
Yeah, and so he's powerless to stop. Like he does try to put down like a religion that built up around him, and then the civil war happens. Then he's left in this like destitute condition, and he's forever trapped to it and unable to actually be an agent in the world. Like he's more of like a psychic influence, but he has to watch as like this religion develops around him after the fact. And there's a whole like golden age that happens before it. So there's like a whole part where it's lost technology, and they actually refuse to go back to it because it's like an AI developed and had like a machine war with humanity that put it into the dark ages that had to bring itself back. Like it's crazy how much goes on into it, but it's like funny to watch the real world like mirror all these things, all these elements. And you're just like, holy shit, are we heading towards like the grim dark future? Like is this what we're destined for?
The future is always grim and it's always dark. And that's kind of what makes us human, is that we still persevere. We still exist despite it always being thrust upon us or impending. And that's the other thing, like that, you know, like because you said going back to the Universe 54. Are we changing up the music again?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going through it.
That's about Universe 54. Like, you know, the mice all, you know, they had everything provided to them. No, this is too harsh. Change it back.
Yeah, I'm going back to feeding the ducks.
Yeah.
There we go.
And it goes back to what I said. Like the thing that sets us apart from the mice is that we build things, we create stuff, right? That's just how we are. We've been doing that for time memoriam. We've been building houses and we've been building tools to help us make the houses. And mice don't have that. So let's say, you know, we are barreling down towards the same inevitable crisis point that Universe 54 did. And, you know, everything collapses and it's, you know, a new, whatever you want to call it, a second dark age or whatever. That's not the end, right? There's still going to be humans who know how to do things and still want to build things, and we'll just rebuild from the ashes of the old once again. But the mice would never be able to do that.
Well, the mice will still be around.
Well, no, I mean the mice in the experiment. Like they don't, right? They don't have that capacity to rebuild.
Well, I think it was just a completely unnatural setting for them. You know, like mice in the real world are never going to really run into that. Like it was kind of like I don't know what brought on that idea to that guy. Like,
no,
I'm just gonna keep feeding them and giving them water, and like they'll be completely provided for, and just see what happens.
No, he wanted to see how the behavior would change in certain circumstances. But that's the thing, like, you know, sure, you see how the behavior changes, but it's such a very low resolution view of how humans would do it, because, you know, we're varied. We're variables in the world, so to say, and just the fact that, you know, we're always inventing new things is like proof that, you know, we're not done yet. Like, you know, the worst that the world could throw at us still isn't enough to wipe us out. You know what I mean? Like we've advanced to the stage now with our innovation that we could probably come up with a solution in time to save ourselves.
You think?
I don't know.
I think there are, you know, crisis, unless it's truly world ending, you know, like, all right, here comes a mega asteroid. Like,
are you talking about Don't Look Up?
Kind of on that scale, you know, which is like.
See, I would have done that movie different.
What would you have done?
So I would have played out most of the movie how it mostly played out, but then I would have added an extra background scene that you would just cut away to now and then of Elon Musk going, you know, having meetings going, all right, well, we've got this thing coming towards us. How do we stop this, guys? Let's figure it out. And, you know, he's there with all his engineers and they're all like drawing up plans and shit like that. And then towards the end of the movie, you know, everyone's like, well, we're fucked. And then you see you see the space rocket launching up with a couple of people inside it, and it goes up to the comet and it lands on the comet, and they put a couple of nukes there and they redirect it and just kind of like narrowly misses Earth. And then, Elon's like, yeah! And everyone's like, yeah! And then everyone just goes back to being complete douchebags, having not learned anything from it.
Yeah, you could have done it that way.
It would have been, I feel like that would have been a much more satisfying ending, because it's like, sure, we're fucked up, but at the same time, we've got some admirable traits here and there. You know what I mean? Like, have a little optimism now and then, guys. But this new environmentalist ideology is just wants to kill people, dude. It's what would you call it? A doomsday cult?
Of sorts,
like
yeah.
It's some kind of strange doomsday cult, the likes we've never seen before.
If you're convinced that mankind is the number one enemy of the environment, and you're all about saving the environment, it's very simple math to just say, well, if we take out this factor and
humans
run it without it, yeah.
But that's the thing. That's they always make that argument. It's such a flawed argument, because it assumes that humans are the enemy of nature when we're not. We're the custodians. Like this world, the fact that we've evolved, we're here to enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And for them to turn around and say, no, you're just here to destroy it. It's like, no. I mean, we destroy some parts of it, but then we try and restore those. And any times we do fuck up, it's usually because, it's one of the 7 deadly sins. It's like greed or something, and it's taken over and it's clouded our judgment. For the most part, humans, we enjoy nature. I enjoy nature. Nature's cool. I like trees better than skyscrapers and shit. And I think a lot of these people live in these urban areas, these city urban liberal types, and that's an acronym.
Okay, got you. Yeah, I kind of take a very broad look at humanity and life and everything. Like, it's kind of like, I think I had a very myopic view and tight view of it in the past, and
yes,
I keep expanding ever outwards, like, on it, and I reform how I think on it. But I kind of hate. There's a point where I probably would have agreed with the environmentalist message of like 20, 30 years ago, or bought into it easier. But now I'm just like, well, what the fuck are you doing? More like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Do you walk everywhere you go, or do you use a car, or do you use public transportation? I don't care what it is. If you use any amount of it, like, you're damaging the environment. What have you done? And are you using a smartphone right now? Are you using a computer? Do you have lithium batteries? Like, it's just kind of like, how much have you really sacrificed yourself personally?
Are those lithium batteries powered by blood diamonds?
Probably also. I mean, there's all sorts of ways they try to go about it. It's just like, I found it for like the NFT and cryptocurrency argument. I'm just like, really? You think this is more wasteful of energy?
And they crow about it. They crow about it from the rooftops all the fucking time, because it's something they can't control. So they try to get
how much energy goes into mining gold.
Yeah,
like, to get you one brick of gold, how much energy that took. And that's the old system. Like the crypto thing, it's like, you just mathematical equation running processors. Like you never had to travel anywhere. No one else had to travel anywhere. No mining took place. There wasn't a physical exchange. You just digitally, boom, right there, it's done.
Yeah.
In your mind, that's way more energy consumed than I had to get in my car and drive to the bank, and then they had to.
It's not that it's in their mind. It's that this is the excuse that they're coming up with, because they can't figure out any other way to sort of. Because there are artists out there that they've tried to fuck with who've gotten rich off it. Stone Toss is one of them, and they don't like the fact that these, now the people that they would normally the class of people, artists that they would normally use as a punching bag, now they've got a way out and they can't bully them anymore. And so they're like, they have to stop that because now they're going to be cut off from their narcissistic supply.
It's just seems really weak to me is all.
Oh yeah,
like,
totally.
And I'm not convinced, and yet I've met people who are like wholly convinced. I know like smart people. Like it's just like, this is kind of a stupid, you have to like be educated to believe. Like I'm just like, there's no way. Like there's people who have stupid takes just because they're ignorant, and there's people who think have stupid takes because they're way too educated but miseducated. It's like they latch on to only part of it and not the whole thing. Like just how many basic principles about the immune system and viruses that we've lost in the past 2 years. I'm just like, there's basic functions of all this stuff that like hold true pretty much across the board. Unless we've engineered a true bioweapon disaster here and unleashed it on the world, it should follow pretty much the course of everything else that's come before it. But they've tried to like rewrite the entire tome of like what that knowledge is, and or redefine the basic terms of it to fit this narrative.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is insane. There's people who called the entire way this was going to play out week one, day one of like it being the major world story. When there was lockdowns and air travel restrictions, when those first started and it was becoming a thing, there's people who pretty much called it down the line what it's going to be to this day. And it's just like, that was considered misinformation for the past 2 years, except now, the scales have tipped the other way, or starting to tip the other way. And it's like they're backtracking on everything they said or had put in place as the truth of the matter. And it's just like, I remember watching documentaries on viruses back in the day, like they're tracking the flu from China to Canada to United States, and it moves across like from pig farmers to like the Canadian geese, and then the Canadian geese flocks coming through America spread it because it goes across different animal species and everything. And I found it kind of interesting, but it's like, what's the typical like size of a virus? I forget what it is, like what nanometers or whatever, but there's pretty much nothing that stops a virus from getting past. There's no perfect virus-proof barrier really, unless you're like in a vacuum. But like it was like medical mask. I forget what the thread on it is. Like it does filter out quite a bit, but it doesn't filter out viruses ever. Like it's the size differential is like staggeringly large. Like there was no chance that this was gonna 100% save you, and yet it was kind of sold on people that way. Like no, like if you can smell a scent of something, like that's larger than what the size of a virus is. It's like the molecule of that thing that like triggers the scent in your nose, that gets into that receptor. That's larger to scale than what a virus is. So if you can smell things like from the outside world, you're not stopping a virus. Like it's just not going to happen. Like you're stopping, I guess, spittle and stuff getting out all over the place, but you're talking about like it's a foolproof thing. I was just like, it was really I guess disheartening to watch that like gain traction, and hearing people who should know better like spout it as gospel. I don't know, like it was just it was a really annoying time.
It still is an annoying time.
Yeah. That's true. I was just like, it's gonna work its way. It's gonna have to burn through. Like everything else. There's any number of ways you could die today, tomorrow. It all could go up in smoke. Like, and I remember talking to, I'm in like the DC Beltway area, and I talked to somebody who was like working in, I think the DOD, and I don't know what he had access to, whatever, but I thought maybe his ear was closer to the ground. about what was going on when this first kicked off. I was like, so what's the situation on this? Is it like a real threat or real danger? And he's like, every day there's a real threat. Like, you don't understand. This is just like every day we have a memo.
Is Tuesday.
Yeah. We have a memo of what the new takeout virus, what the new weapon or terrorist group or what. Like, it's just like every day there's a new one. Like, it was just like another day at the work for him.
I wonder what it's like to be always living in fear like that, knowing that every day there's some new weapon that's...
I mean, he was pretty much dead to it, immune to it. Like, it's just like when you've been desensitized to it. I think it's like a rule of 100 or something like that. After 100 interactions or relationships, you give up. Like, you just tap out.
Oh, I've reached my limit. There we go. That explains it.
Well, I think it's like you can only have like really 100 acquaintances. Like, I'm not even saying like 100 friends, like 100 acquaintances, people you know or could interact with, kind of keep up with, or like just ask them, how are the kids, how's whoever, and kind of keep a basic track of in your mind. And the moment you try to expand beyond that, like, you start losing people. Unless you're one of these like super memory people, like you just kind of lose them. But I think it was a study on metro workers or something like that. Like, you start the job, you'll kind of be helpful to people, but after it's like the 100th person is asked you like the basic question of like,
you just
how do I put more money on my card or whatever. You just read the sign. Okay, what does it say? You just lose. You don't give a shit. And that's like why the DMV is what it is, or Metro is what it is. You can be that. You can try being like that stellar customer service or service person. And it's just like, you're gonna burn out. There's a limit to what it is.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So what else? One of the other things, I mean, it's been kind of a running theme, is that I don't keep up with the Book of Boba Fett. I still haven't. I found it really funny. Like, it was like, I think it was the first 5 episodes, people were really just, none of it was working. And then I was like, oh, it was a good episode. And I guess it just ended. And they're just like, the season sucked. I'm just like, well, I kind of figured.
Well, that's what John Malin said.
Well, a number of other people were too. Just like, it was either anticlimactic, disappointing. For a show called Book of Boba Fett, why did you turn it into Mandalorian or something? I have no idea where the whole story went, but essentially people were just like underwhelmed by it. I'm like, well, didn't we kind of learn everything we needed to know with The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi? Wasn't that enough? Like, at the point where it's like they put everything behind this new trilogy, and I kind of didn't like the first one at all. Well, it was okay, but it was just like a rehash of A New Hope to me. I was just like, this is a complete ripoff of A New Hope. Like, almost beat for beat, locations, like the introductions of characters. Like, it was like following all the same beats.
Well, the thing is, like, all of these Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian, they're supposed to be the lead up to the sequel trilogy.
Yes, they're filling in that timeline. Not that I'm particularly...
but I think the way I read it to interpret it is it's a lead up to to a new sequel trilogy. Because
maybe.
That's a maybe. I don't know.
My interest is like pretty close to zero, though. I mean, I wasn't ever really a big Star Wars fan, like mega fan. I had the movies, I watched them, liked them, but it wasn't like I was dressing up like a Jedi. I had a lightsaber.
That's the thing. I never dressed up as a Jedi. I don't think.
No, I don't even know if I read really anything expanded universe or anything. It was just like the original trilogy was really all I cared about. If you could say I really even cared about it.
I mean, it's a good trilogy. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but it's not as if like I was like, this is my jam. This is, I'm rewatching it. I'm Leo DiCaprio renting out a whole movie theater to like LARPing as my first date with a supermodel. Did you hear about that shit?
Wait, I
don't know if we covered that.
I heard that he. Well, tell us the story.
Well, according to a a woman he was with or is with. I don't know his current ex, but she's like, it was the worst first date of my life.
Oh wow.
He rented out the movie theater at some place, and it was nothing but the Star Wars films, like from prequel to I think new, and he like was dressed up in like a Jedi robe. He had a lightsaber.
Oh my god.
And he just went around. It was just him and her, just the two of them.
That's so terrible.
And he went around like doing lightsaber fights or whatever while the movie was playing and like acting shit out. And I'm like, okay, either this is like one of the biggest first date trolls a person could ever do, or this is some dude who's just like a super. I would never have pegged Leo DiCaprio as that, because I heard he's like party animal, like always like new chick on his arm, like rotating through, like he was just like a like what you consider a playboy, you know, like. And it's like this guy who's like, this is what he does is just. I thought it was like a troll or something, but I thought I found it funny.
How wrong you were. You thought wrong, Lucius. He was one of us the whole time.
Mm-hmm. And even Lord of the Rings, like I'm not big on Lord of the Rings either, but I can never like marathon. I can never watch that stuff back to back. Like it'd be too much. I have to take it in one at a time. But all that considered, like The Force Awakens, I was just like, this is what the fuck is going on? What is this New Order? What is the Resistance? Like I'm like, what are these factions? Where does this world even stand right now? Galactic Empire and Rebel Alliance was kind of self-explanatory in a way. like kind of easy to figure out. You know, the kind of tyrannical powers about to acquire the super weapon of all super weapons. Ugh. And if they do, that's the end of any resistance. And that was the first movie.
What they should have done was instead of just doing like a bad ripoff of the Death Star, they should have just done pulled from the Old Republic and done the Star Forge.
They could have just repurposed any.
You know what I mean?
I don't follow close enough to know what you mean, but I could understand what you mean. I think Disney's.
Do you know what the Star Forge is?
No.
All right, so there was this game that BioWare made called Knights of the Old Republic.
Okay. Yeah.
It was an RPG. You played that, right?
No, but go on.
Well, so it was one of their first RPGs. It was a huge success. Everyone liked it. It was kind of the precursor to Mass Effect. And so in it, you play the main character, who you name, and spoilers, guys. The game's been out for however many years. It turns out that they're following the path of this former Sith Lord called Darth Revan, right? And he kind of said all these things throughout the universe that they got to try to track down to find the location of the Star Forge, which is this giant I guess mega factory that leaches, I guess, matter from a sun in order to create like droid armies, and it's being used by Revan's apprentice Darth Malus. Is it Malus or Maul? I think it might be Malus, but anyway, he apparently killed Revan, as is the way of the Sith, and took over, and now he runs the Star Forge, and he's got all these droid armies that he's using to fight the Republic, the current Republic. And so as you play through the game, the plot reveal is that you, the player, you are Darth Revan. You have been Darth Revan this whole time. You've had your memory wiped, and so then you got to decide: will I be a good Jedi now, or will I go back down the path of darkness? And I just thought, the MacGuffin, the super weapon, was the Star Forge, and I thought it was rather clever because it was like the Death Star but in reverse. Instead of destroying things, it would siphon things off from the sun and create things, and it was kind of pretty cool. Because what better way to stop an advancing army than to stop the creation of that army? You know? So I don't know. Am I crazy sounding here, Lucius?
No, it sounds more interesting than let's come up with a new thing. Well, we had the Death Star. What can beat the Death Star? How about
a bigger Death Star
killer?
Yeah. Wow.
Where it can drain a whole sun, a whole star. and then use that as energy to kill 5 planets at
I mean, that was kind of interesting, but I think, yeah, if it was more like the Starforge, where it's like, you know, they've got these armies and they're trying to figure out how to stop this, you know what I mean? It's like they're trying to find this thing. Because obviously something amazing as that can produce billions and billions of army units, like you'd want to stop that. That's the source. That's what you would want to stop, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And so that's almost like the plot of like trying to find out where this thing is, but they just fucked it up. It's like no imagination. Fuck these guys. At least Lucas was trying with the prequels. He was trying to do something different, but whatever.
Yeah. So Force Awakens, I was just like, I had hopes for, but then I watched it and I was like, well, that wasn't the movie I was looking for. You know, they were going back to, you know, like the Space Muppets, and we're shooting on set at locations and stuff like that. It's not some big giant fucking blue screen, green screen studio. And I was like, okay, well, they're going back to at least practical stuff. That's nice. We're gonna get more like the classic feel and at least like a sense of reality here. And it was just like, wait, they're on a desert planet. She's an orphan. She gets in the Millennium Falcon. She meets up with Han and Chewie. There's basically a Death Star they have to destroy, but there's only a specific way they can even have a hope of destroying it. Like, it was just like down the list, dude. Just
it's like a bad parody of itself now.
And then it was like, okay, well, let's see what they do on the second one. And then it was like, well, you guys just threw out the whole idea of a trilogy, huh? Like, it was like you watch that, you get to the end, and you're like, where the fuck do you go from here?
There was a great YouTube video that I saw recently. It was really good, explaining how like these Star Wars films are actually anti-Star Wars films, and by saying they're anti-Star Wars films, in a way they're like anti-Lucas films. They're trying to get Lucas out of the whole thing, because Lucas is obviously he's the creator of Star Wars, right? Like, he's the author.
Well, Disney acquired it, and like essentially they're like, well, since we paid for it, now we own it. We want to make it ours. Like, we're not paying out anybody else for their version of Star Wars. We're gonna do our version of Star Wars. It's like, well, good luck. But
even then, it's not their version. It's like the anti-version of Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, I would say so, but I'd say it's just Disney's version. Like, it's the Disney version of it. You know, it's just like I never really got the whole thing about Boba Fett. I was like, what like the traction really? Like, okay, he was kind of a somewhat cool design, but in the movies he really didn't do much. Like,
well, back in the day, like, you know, it was like that when the Lord of the Rings films came out. There was this one background dwarf character that appeared for like 2 seconds, and there was this massive fandom that formed around him. And it was, you know, and he had a name, I forget what the name was, but there was like this, it's really bizarre what people latch onto and you know, create fandoms around it. And when Boba Fett was like, when the original trilogy came out, and, you know, years later, people still loved it. You know, Boba Fett was like the same kind of thing. You know, he was like kind of like this background character, like a supporting character, who was probably in 2 films, technically 3, because he was in he had a cameo in that cut or the recut version or whatever with the deleted stuff. You remember that one?
The special edition.
I think it was the special edition where it's like that old footage of Han Solo and Chewbacca. They're going to the ship just to check on it, and Jabba the Hutt. And Boba Fett is like makes a quick cameo, but yeah, people, you know, because then you know the toys come out and there's a little blurb saying, oh, you know, he's a bounty hunter, blah blah blah, and people are like, oh, cool, he's a bounty hunter. It never shows his face, blah 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 blah. And so that's just, I guess it's just kind of like my generation's way of, you know, finally telling the Boba Fett story. But, not doing.
But that was the mistake.
Yeah.
Like, unless you had a really good story to tell, don't tell it. Like,
well,
just
the thing
leave it.
was, Lucas like tied his story into the Clone Wars, because all the clone troopers were clones of Jango Fett, who was Boba Fett's father. So
I can't say I really rewatched them, especially Attack of the Clones.
Well, but it was because of that. So, like, yeah, once Lucas did that, introduced Jango, and then subsequently Boba, but like Kid Boba, then everybody was just like, "Oh, hell yeah, bro! Whoa!" Because for years, up until the prequels, everyone had just been going like, "Who is Boba Fett? What's he all about? I want more Boba Fett, right?" And obviously, Lucas heard that, and he was like, "All right, well, we'll tell the story of Boba Fett."
That's like Wolverine.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like don't fucking tell the story. The story is he doesn't fucking know.
Well, that was the other thing. It's like, that game, Star Wars 1313?
No.
So there was this game that I think it was EA that was making, or it might have been LucasArts, but it was like really good game. It was called Star Wars 1313, and it was basically set on the 13th sub-level of Coruscant, and you played as this young bounty hunter who was like, a new character. And the story goes is like, they made sort of like the I guess what do you call it, like a gameplay preview, so to say, of what it was supposed to look like and how it's supposed to play out, and everybody loved it because it's like cool and looked really good, and ILM did like work on it on the 3D models. And so, everybody when they showed the trailer, everybody like responded really well to it. They're like, "Oh man, I can't wait for that Star Wars game to come out. I'm gonna play the shit out of it." And so then they showed it to George Lucas, and George Lucas kind of looked at it and he said, "Yeah, just make it Boba Fett. Make it about Boba Fett." They're like, "No, but we got this cool new character." "Nah, just make it Boba Fett. Make it a young Boba Fett, and he's just like learning how to be a bounty hunter." That was his response. And so they went back and they reworked it to have it become a young Boba Fett, and then the game got cancelled.
Well, I mean, there's sometimes where there's like genius that happens, and there's sometimes just really bad moves, really bad calls that get made. Yeah. Another one that was just like better left leave that box empty. Battlestar Galactica and the Cylons. Just leave that mystery there.
Leave it, yeah. Instead, it's Angels? Is that what it was?
I can't remember, dude. That was such a crushing.
Why do they always? It was like the reverse of where we are now. It's like they didn't know where to take it, so they just went down this religious route.
Yeah. It was prophecies and visions and angels, and it's just like, all right. You had
so they're angels, but they're robot angels. Is that what they are?
They're android human. They were imitating humans so close. What was the real difference? We don't know. Who was the monster and who was the? It was trying to play with all these meta themes way too much.
Yeah, like really badly.
And trying to put out like an origin story and stuff where it's just like, unless you can actually it's really good, it's like unanimously agreed, or 9 out of 10 people say, yeah, that's a cool origin story. Don't fucking don't bother. If you just have cool characters, you don't have to. What Boba Fett had maybe 2-3 lines of dialogue in the movies, and there's this huge fandom around him. Maybe it's best he doesn't talk or show his face or do all these things you have him doing. And this, I couldn't believe who they cast for the role. I was like, not what I pictured. So probably should have just left him in the suit.
Who, Tamura?
I don't know the guy's name.
But I was
huh?
The role of Boba Fett?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tamura Morrison.
Okay, well, I don't know who he is.
From his debut was Once Were Warriors. Have you ever seen that film?
No.
It's a New Zealand film. It's all about the gangs, the different Maori gangs in New Zealand.
I'm not saying he's a bad actor. I haven't really watched enough of his stuff. I was just like, this is how they're going to do it? I was just, okay. kind of seemed like over the hill, washed up, everything. Like, okay, like I don't see the cool factor anymore. But yeah, I just didn't find. Besides the first 3 episodes of Mandalorian, which was more like one movie made into 3 episodes, where he gets Baby Yoda and breaks ties with the bounty hunter guild or whatever, like that kind of dried up fast too. After that point, where they just had to stretch out the rest of that season, and after a certain, I forget where I kind of jumped off. I was just like, yeah, I don't really care about anything they have to make anymore. They've shown over and over again, like they're trying to lead it down this path. It just doesn't really work for me on. And I saw some little clip too of, I guess it was the final episode. Like it was like a 1-2 second clip of pulling guns. Then like I guess Robert Rodriguez was.
Oh yeah, and he's like moving the camera and shit.
Yeah, it's just like, don't ever have him direct another Star Wars.
That was hilarious.
It's just like, yeah, I can see where it's just it doesn't.
Well,
hit the right time.
He did that one episode of Mandalorian, which actually wasn't that bad.
I'm not sure which one it was.
I think
Mandalorian was alright, but
it was the one where Mando takes Grogu to that Jedi stone place where you've gone quiet. You've muted yourself now, so
yeah, it's trying to block out some noise.
You remember the one where he takes Grogu to that stone place so that Grogu can like meditate and set a signal out, and then that's when Boba Fett shows up and they start blasting stormtroopers. I think that was the one he directed.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just kind of like, kind of misses the Star Wars mojo for me. Yeah, like the show.
Yeah.
Even the new films sort of lacked that quality to them too. I couldn't believe the shit they pulled in The Last Jedi. I was just like, what are you guys doing? This is so bad. Who? I can't believe they gave what's his name, Rian Johnson, that much control or that much leeway. Nobody yanked the chain back on him and be like, what the fuck is this shit?
Nah. Well, I mean, we've been over this topic, but yeah.
I'm just saying, like, from go, like from Disney's first attempts with it till now, like how much more do you need to see before you're just like, okay, they're not doing the Star Wars I know or love. Like, it's time to move on. Just remember the classics and enjoy them, or make something new and awesome.
Yeah, you're asking a corporation to make something new. Get out of here. They can't make anything new. They can only, like, evil cannot create; it can only destroy.
Sounds like a nice tagline to something. What are you doing, dude? What is that?
Trying to kill this bug.
Oh. Good luck.
Keep missing. I'll stop. Sorry, that is annoying.
That's all right. No worries. We're almost at the 2-hour point.
Oh, we are. Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll talk about things.
Talk about things? What things? You have something you want to share?
Anything you want to share? Anything you want to ask me? Anything I want to ask you?
Well, before we wrap up, I guess we should at least touch upon your book, man. You still gotta spin that plate.
You know what? I think I'm done spinning the fucking plate.
Dude, you're barely like 2 weeks in.
And I've got 2 weeks left to go, I think.
Well, you can always extend it out.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do that.
No?
No.
You should. I think you should.
With the rate it's going right now, I don't think
Well, the middle is always kind of the slow part of it. It's the usually it's first day, first week kind of thing, and then last day, last couple days.
I got 3 more days before we got 2 more weeks left to go.
Yep, got 17 days here. $3,000, $3,110, 86 backers.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the last issue of Second Gods.
Don't say that shit.
It's true.
Come on, then.
It's true. I mean, I'm not I'm not lying.
All right. Get it now, guys, while you can.
Yeah. I mean, why bother? You know what I mean? It's like...
That's a you decision.
That's a what?
That's a you decision. That's a you thing to do, yeah.
Well, I
You're
mean,
in
when you
control.
look at the stats, it's like... You know, it's like other campaigns are doing way better for much less. It's like the minute I put a little effort in, it's like people aren't interested, you know what I mean? The book's done. It's got a killer trailer. Prices, it's got affordable prices.
You're just sounding really defeated, man.
Well,
you get me down.
You understand where I'm coming from when I just listen.
I can totally get where you're coming from.
It's like, you know, clearly people aren't interested. I mean, not enough people are interested in Forsaken Gods. Like, where are the 251 people that backed the last campaign? Where are they?
They're out there. They just need to be reminded.
I sent them an email. I sent them all an email. I mass sent that email.
Yeah, but
I'm not gonna spam it.
They're like the amount of emails I get and the amount of emails I look at are two different things. Like you just have to figure it's you know, you throw it 100 times or whatever, like one's gonna like make the strike or whatever. Like you just it's a numbers game, man.
Then theoretically the next one, if you strike it the same way, should strike again. Like, look, business-wise, it doesn't make sense for me to continue on it with it if I've made less money and had had less backers than the previous one. It shows that there's lack of interest.
It's not over yet, man. So
you're right. It's not over
17
for 2
days.
weeks, but it is practically over.
You were so defeated.
I've been I've been on fucking shows and I like get maybe one backer. Everybody's putting their money into Tiger Blue and Von Klaus's thing. They're not buying Forsaken Gods. I don't know why. Like, I guess I kind of do know why. It's because I'm not, you know, a quote-unquote personality on the internet. I'm just me. I want my work to be famous, and so I don't know. I'm not going to get into it. I'm just going to shut up.
All right. Well, Forsaken Gods 2, guys. You haven't backed it. Look at it.
Yeah.
Take a look at
people who are watching this, you go back it.
Well, you know, we covered it the past couple weeks. I don't know how much more we'll pick up here, but every little bit.
But look, like, be honest with me, Lucius. You get what I meant when I said that, right?
Oh, I get it.
Like business-wise, it doesn't.
Before the show about like, fuck, like what? What's the point of a number of things, right?
Right. It's like I feel like the only way I would be successful is if I perfectly replicate the circumstances that I did for the first campaign, which was not have a finished book, do a shitty job with the trailer, and just kind of like, you know, have it be late. Then people will back it.
Maybe.
All right, whatever. I'm talking to...
Keep on keeping on, dude. That's what hypnotist Ray Williams says.
Go back to campaign, motherfucker.
We need to work on your messaging.
Shut the fuck up. No, I don't. That's bullshit.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it for this week. Thanks for coming in, hypnotist Ray Williams, Michelson Art, dropping some chats.
Yeah, the two viewers. Yeah, thanks guys. Appreciate it. Hey, yo, I did want to say on a positive note, I gave your channel a shout out on Shay the Red's channel. Oh yeah? Yeah. Did she say anything? We posted the link to your channel in the chat. Oh, okay. Go back and view it. I think it's around the halfway point, I think. Okay. Well, thanks for doing that. No, I mean, I wanna give back, you know. I kind of watched part of it. I saw the cosplay reveal. That was crazy. That looks cumbersome. I was I mean, I had a feeling she was doing it because she was like, she didn't show you before you started? No, she didn't show me until it was revealed the same time as online, and that was the same time I saw it. So I knew she was because she had said, yeah, you know, the next one will be Skull Knight. I'll like cosplay as Skull Knight. And so I was like, all right, fine. And I wasn't quite sure how she was going to do it. I was like, and so I'd be imagining in my mind, like, oh, maybe she like has like some kind of strange contraption where it's like a fan and it's just blowing up, you know, like colored like flimsy paper around or cellophane around her head to simulate the flames, and she's just like got like a skull cap on and she's painted her face white or something.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it was actually quite ingenious what she did. I was like amazed because it was actually really pretty good. So that was awesome. And I should be on another stream this Friday around noon Central. I think that's the time. On what's his name? I've forgotten his name. The guy who does the lettering for a lot of comics.
Oh, Eric Weathers?
Yes, that's him.
Yeah.
So I'll be on Eric Weathers on Friday.
All right. Cool. Well, look forward to your future promotion stuff.
Oh, yeah. It'll be a train wreck. Don't worry.
I don't know. I like seeing how it all plays out.
You like watching a car crash in slow motion? Is that what you're saying?
Seeing you struggle through another like spiel, having to sell the book over again. It's so bullshit.
I hate it. Because it's like, look, it's like this invisible script I got to remember every time, and I just fuck it up now. You know,
you should probably refine it, have it written down. Like it's just like your.
I hate reading it though. You know what I mean? Because it feels less authentic. Because then I'm just like, then it sounds like I'm reading it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if I kind of remember it and do it off the cuff, at least it sounds a little more natural. You know what I mean? Maybe. Am I wrong?
You should do it as like a note card kind of thing, like bullet points, like the things you want to hit, and like you just find a way to say
like the artwork is done. It has a good trailer,
page count,
and their t-shirt
synopsis. Yeah.
All right. Good point. Good point.
Just rattle that shit off.
Wait, where would you rattle that off, at the beginning of the spiel or the end of the spiel?
I think you should do, if it were me and I were trying to break it down, I would probably do story, you know, then little character dive. Like, so you hit broad strokes of the story, like what the first one was, make it quick, simple, and then you get like kind of your characters.
Is that
Samara?
Is that to insinuate that I'm not quick with my story?
I think from what I've seen, my favorite interview you had was with Dan Fan. It just seemed kind of very organic and like I don't know, your stream of consciousness and everything, like kind of it was in a flow. That was probably my favorite one of yours.
Probably because I'm like the least nervous around Dan Fan.
Okay.
Because that's the thing, like the dynamic works in opposite when I'm with Trish. It's like she's the one who's really self-conscious and nervous whenever I'm around. Yeah, there was kind of like awkwardness up front of just like starting the show, but once you actually got into your campaign. But no, let me finish. It's like when I'm it's in reverse, because normally I'm the one who's awkward and nervous around someone I don't know, but when I'm around with her, it's the opposite. Like she's awkward and nervous, and so because she's awkward and nervous, I'm just like, oh well, you know, I'm just relaxed. It's all great, you know what I mean?
And so yeah, I would say story, characters, then your tiers, your book, everything, and I would make that more the focus. Stretch goals, they're nice. I just think it's kind of like it's like gift wrap or something, you know, like it's a nice like extra thing, but some people will probably be convinced by that, but there's some of these packages and stuff people are putting out, I'm just like, you're never going to compete with the top of the line ones. You know, if you're a small campaign, I'd rather you focus on the core content, the book and everything like that. But yeah, knowing that your artwork's done, that's kind of a major plus. Like the tear in the trenches, like I'm not excited that it's only 50% done.
And yet they've made $15,000, Lucius.
Yeah, well, you know, I kind of worry about some of these campaigns. I have a confidence, at least him fulfilling Monster MD, you know, and it seems like it's the same team. Like I'm confident that it will get done, but I wonder about the circumstances.
Sure.
When it gets
and yet
done.
You still backed it. I
haven't backed it yet.
Okay. All right.
Nope.
Well, at least I got that over.
I'm interested in it, but I saw in their thing, we didn't really go over it, but I saw it earlier in the day. It was like 50% done. Like, man, I was seeing art from this. It felt like a year ago.
Yeah, that's the
you
thing,
know,
Lucius. I mean, people don't want complete books. People want incomplete books. They want to wait for something that they've paid for. Apparently,
I just thought it was way closer to completion. I thought that was kind of the new model people were working towards.
No, the new model is that customers want shoddily made, overpriced, late products that they, don't have to, think about, and only when they move, and they want to be treated like shit in the replies and for customer service. The customer these days, apparently, they want all the bad things about a crowdfund. It would seem.
I think the tides are shifting. I'll speak from personal experience. There's a number of projects I backed, and I've even contacted people. At least they've contacted me back. Like, I'm like, hey, I just remembered I backed this like a couple of years ago. What's the deal?
Yeah.
And like I'm kind of understanding. I'm like, you're never gonna get somebody to do what you want them to do by like yelling at them, probably.
Sure.
But and it's stuff I was genuinely interested in. But there's, I don't know, 4 or 5 of these projects that are kind of like in this mode, or even if there's promise of it being done, we're probably a year out at best from it showing up in my hands.
And yet there's this other campaign. Maybe you've heard of it, Lucius.
What's it called?
It's called Forsaken Gods 2. And I heard that all the artwork is already done, and once the campaign ends, books are going to go straight to the printer and get shipped out in record time.
Here's what I would say:
only 86 people have backed it. It's so strange. I don't
think you should give up just yet. All right, you still have closing week to do.
I have 2 weeks left. I have 2 weeks left.
All right. Let's say you do. I say even if you decide to cut it off, then overprint. I don't know if you can work out with 3D.
No, fuck that shit. Fuck it.
Dude, there's a whole contingent
of
people
bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. I'm not doing it.
All right, man. All right. I was gonna say, just hold in demand for a while and just sell stuff that's done.
Nah, man. If those people don't look, they want to spend their money on fucking bullshit, they can go do that. And then when they turn around and go, "Oh, I wanted to back this, but no, it's in it," it's like, well, yeah, you fucking wasted your time, dude. And then they're going to be sitting there waiting for their fucking books to arrive 2 years down the line.
Well, I guess that's it for the show.
Look, I'm frustrated. I'm really frustrated.
I know you're frustrated. I'm trying to help you out.
I know you are, and I appreciate that. But you understand, I've done all this work, and no one gives a shit. Well, all right, that's not true. 86 people give a shit. And that's cool, but 251 people gave a shit last time, a year ago. So,
all right, but how long did you have your campaign up for to rope in?
No, we're not playing that game. I
think you got to be fair to yourself,
we're
man.
Not. No, we're not playing. I'm not playing that fucking bullshit game. That's bullshit.
This is not the night.
Von Klaus got his fucking thing funded plus more in 30 minutes.
All right.
That's his second campaign.
Yes, it's his second campaign. He was part of I would say the vanguard of Comicsgate campaigns. Monster MD was kind of one of the really good looking ones up front.
So was mine. So was Forsaken Gods 1.
Oh my gosh, why you being so belligerent with me right now?
Because this is bullshit. This is bullshit. This is all bullshit, dude.
We're gonna do some investigation here. I want to see when Monster MD was out here.
Look, don't get me wrong. I'm happy for Vaughn, all right? I don't begrudge his success. You know how frustrating it is to see all this success going on around you and you're doing the exact same thing and it's not happening to you. That's my frustration.
I get that. I just think you're giving up too easily on it.
I'm not giving
you're
up
being
too
unfair
easily.
on your.
I'm not. I'm just being realistic about this. This is not the way to run a business. Like,
Okay.
look. Let's say worst case scenario, it stays at 86, and I raise that amount. I'm like, obviously it's funded. And I'm going to fulfill it, right? I'm going to do that. I'm not just going to be like giving refunds out and canceling everything. But like, if it ends, and that's the highest it goes, logic dictates I've made less money and gotten less backers than the previous campaign, so therefore this is not a viable property to pursue. Because if I do another one, knowing all this, it's like the hardest slog in the world. It's better just to like cut my losses now and just, I don't know, move on and become a busboy or some bullshit. I don't know.
All right, man. If that's what you want to do, I think for only being 13 days into your campaign, I think you're being way too hard on yourself.
Well, it's only 14 actually, isn't it?
Okay, well, 14 days.
Well,
I thought the 30-day campaigns, you're at 17 days out. You probably are going to roll over here shortly to 16, but even so, my friend, I mean, you're less than 2 weeks into it, really. So.
This is the halfway point.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be.
No, it is. It's going to be. Fuck it.
All right.
Fuck
it now,
shit.
Guys.
Fuck this shit. And look, at the end of the campaign, I'm gonna have a massive fuck it for something else, and you'll find out.
Okay.
Sorry, I ended this. I'm just fucking this up so badly.
You're getting a little, yeah. All right. Well,
I apologize for venting my frustrations.
That's all right. It's good content. I'm trying to like turn this ship around.
I know. Look. Let me just say, I appreciate the people who've backed it. I appreciate everyone who's retweeted it, and I appreciate you, Lucius, for sort of like, being the voice of reason, of even-handed reason. And I appreciate everyone who's let me come on and try and promote it. I guess, I just feel, once again, I think I've said this previous streams, I just feel invisible, I feel like I just feel like I'm trying to scream at deaf and blind customers, and it's just getting tiring. I just get tired of it. I just don't have the stamina like I used to. It happens when you get old. It's like everything I've done, it's all for naught, I feel like. But whatevs. I mean, even Von Klaus posted a review of it, which I really appreciated, and posted on Twitter. But even that wasn't enough, so I don't know.
Well, we haven't hit halftime yet, so
we're about.
I can understand you're frustrated, but hopefully you'll give yourself time to recharge and hit the ground.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm just still tired.
I think that is it, man. I mean, it's a slog. You're one-man army right now.
I gotta hit the gym more regularly, get my energy levels up or something.
Maybe
that's probably what it is. I'm just really irritable.
Maybe. But we're at 2 hours 17 minutes.
Yeah, we did it. Woo!
Thanks again, people who watched. Well, I feel like the last 20 minutes were futile on my part.
Damn it! No!
Stop looking into the abyss, Luke. Stop.
That's every day for me, Lucius. I can't help but look into the abyss.
Yeah. But that's it for this week's show. I am Lucius at Jaw Smashers on Twitter. For sure, Luke's got his campaign, Forsaken Gods 2. Try to get it out there. Let people. If I'm speaking honestly, I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass or anything. I feel like you should definitely be 10,000. I think you should be closer to 30, 40,000, 50,000.
Everyone said that on the last campaign as well.
And
I don't disagree with you. In fact, I agree with you. I should be at least 10,000.
So
I'm not.
Don't try to give up. It's a crowded space, and it is fucking annoying to try to get noticed and get out there. But 30 days, do what you can, do your best. Don't leave anything on the table. But recharge when you need to and get it done, man. I'm looking forward to it.
It is.
I'll be bummed if it's the last of last of the story?
I mean, it looks like it is. It really does look like this is going to be the last one. So, I mean, I don't really see the point of continuing it if, like, it's going to stay where it is. So, I mean, look, I might go on Eric Withers' channel and everything will get turned around. It'll be like, you know what I mean? Like, then the flood of hordes will come in and back the campaign, and everything will be great.
You never know.
Yeah. I'll get 252 backers.
There you go.
Instead of 251. And then everything will be great.
All right.
We all live happily ever after, I guess. Anyway, sorry, sign off.
Yeah. Anything else you wanna put on the end of this?
Nah.
Nope. All right.
Just be safe. I'm not gonna say the other one.
Yeah, take it easy, guys. Until next time.
Have fun.
Peace.
Yeah.